Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I thought this was really, really funny when I saw this yesterday. And I want to thank Dale for sending this to me. Listen, they had little information about all the different states of the United States. You know, like Delaware has more scientists and engineers than any other state. And like Georgia, it was there in 1886 that pharmacist John Pemberton made the first vat of Coca-Cola. Idaho, TV was invented in Rigby in 1922. Here, I'm not making this up. Here's what they said about Illinois. Has a governor in jail, one pending in jail, and is the most corrupt state in the union. Illinois, don't move there. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America. Poor Illinois. What a rap. Good morning, and welcome to Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell, and thank you very much to the Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. They're our main sponsor, and then some of our great advertisers, including Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Call them, get on the route service today. Locally owned and operated, 734-6969. And our friends at Valleywide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert, everything for the farm, the home, and the ranch at Valleywide Home and Ranch. Right now, let's say good morning to our Pledge of Allegiance person. Are you ready?
Yep, good morning, sir.
Yes, are you going to do it?
Yes, I am.
Now, be honest with me. You had the mic in the wrong switch, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, I know you did. I heard you in Taiwan someplace trying to talk to me. All right, go ahead and give us the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Very well done.
Okay, thank you very much. Right now, let's get our weather forecast in here with the MichaelRogersWeather.com, brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-6945, and they are gearing up for a great big anniversary sale on June 5th and 6th. Oh, it's going to be absolutely phenomenal, and they've got tile as low as 99 cents per square foot, carpet as low as $5.79 per square yard. All of this for their big anniversary sale coming up on June 5 and 6. We'll tell you more about Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. And right now, here he is, Michael Rogers Weather.
There you go. If you're keeping score at home, from the time we started this rainy period up to today, you got 4 inches of rain in Burley. 4 inches of water in the bucket. You're welcome. I know you needed the water. You got it. You're through the worst of it now. So here's the good news. You'll taper off tonight. You'll have a sunny day tomorrow on Saturday. You'll have sun and clouds on Sunday. And then Sunday night, you'll pick right back up where you left off today. The beauty of the weather pattern that we're going through the weekend is that the temperatures are going to get warmer. You're going to see 83 by the time you hit Sunday. 69 for the high today, 75 for the high tomorrow, 80 for the high on Saturday. So, other than that, you've got a wet period. You're going to get a break. And then you're going to start right back up at the beginning of the week with another wet period, springtime. But I do know this by learning from all the folks in the Magic Valley about agriculture, farming, and I hope I'm right when I say this, you want this rain now. You don't want nothing in July. You want it just hot so everything can just grow. I hope I said that right. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
All right, Michael. Thank you very much. Cheney Flooring and Home Design bringing you Michael Rogers weather. Cheney Flooring with the best of carpet and flooring, kitchen construction, home decor, whatever you need to make your house a home at Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Merv May, come on in. Let's sell some cattle here.
Hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get $31, 31 going out.
Oh, my. That's the chant of the world's best auctioneer, Merv May at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. The number to call, 678-9411 for sale information and for consignments. Merv May, Cade Rogge, Lance Udy, all taking care of you at 10 a.m. this morning. This is the sale that works for you. And for, like I said, consignments or any information on the sale, call them at 678-9411. And they always have a great line of cattle coming in on the trailer line. We call it the trailer line. People coming in, lining up, dumping off their cattle and everything. It's going to be another good sale. Excellent personnel serving you at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, with sale time today at 10 a.m. All right, Merv, sell those steers, please.
Hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get $31, 1.5, 31 going out, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, and 5.5, 130, 550, 135 and a half, selling $35. Zeb Bell, get bottom again.
Well, we have a couple of birthdays that we want to mention that are going to be tomorrow. We have May 29th birthdays, and that's going to be tomorrow on Friday. We'd like to wish a very happy birthday to Mary Scott and Dawn Zanino. Both of them are celebrating birthdays. They're going to be treated like queens tomorrow on Friday. And then on Saturday, we have an anniversary. Al and Polly Butler are celebrating their anniversary. And Al said, my goodness, he couldn't remember how many years they've been married. And Polly said it seems like since 1875. But anyhow, congratulations to Al and Polly Butler, their anniversary on Saturday. Calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And, we are literally just around the corner from turning on the old air conditioner, sitting back, putting our feet up and going, oh, man, that feels good. Well, I'll tell you what, in order to make it work efficiently, you better make sure that it has a clean air filter. So check them out at Ramsey Heating and Electric. They've got all your air filters right there at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, 678-0459. They open the doors at 7:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday. You stop in, Ramsey Heating and Electric. By the way, too, I want to mention that this Saturday is the last day to get registered for that antique tractor show coming up on June 19th and 20th over at Valleywide Home and Ranch. Now, hurry, and get over there and register for that great big event. Trophies, all kinds of prizes and everything. And don't forget, all the horse tack and the farrier equipment for the horseshoers is 10% off right now with the proof of a rodeo membership, or for the horseshoers, they can tell by the look of your hands and all the nail holes and everything else. You get that 10% discount. And by the way, all 4-H supplies are 10% off too. And they've got a fantabulous fishing department over there. Check it out. Get your licenses there too at Valleywide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert, Sean, Mandy, the whole crew at Valleywide Home and Ranch. Wow, maybe you don't realize this, but this case that's being listened to by a judge in New York is very, very serious. It is a huge case of animal rights. And the judge is listening to members and lawyers of PETA and other animal rights organizations to where they are trying to sway the judge's opinion that chimpanzees are persons. Now, you might laugh and snicker at this. A lot of people would. Myself, if I wasn't so connected to these animal rights problems in this country, I guess I would snicker at it when I first heard it myself. But this is a very dangerous case because agriculture, sports, research, everything is on the line if this judge does rule that chimpanzees are persons and have characteristics of personality, doing certain things like people. Okay? But keep in mind, one point that is never brought out in all of these court cases or threatened court cases is that you do not have the qualified acknowledgement of being a person or a human being if you don't have responsibility. Responsibility to get up in the morning and go to work. Responsibility to hold a job, pay the bills, have a family, buy a car. Responsibility. And animals don't have that. They can't even take care of themselves. That's where the human factor comes in accordance with the Bible, that man should have dominion over all the earth, all the animals, etc. But these people with animal rights groups are absolutely going after the courts to try to get animals and whales, elephants, horses, cows all turned loose. They don't want any captivity. They don't want any feedlots. They don't want anything. And this case is extremely serious in the outcome as to what this one judge in New York might rule. Now, you might say, it's only one judge, it's only one case, but the ramifications and the repercussions of what might take place from this case could spread nationwide like a cancer. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. While I'm waiting for your call that I know is coming in, I'm going to sit here and drool over the menu items at Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland in Burley, the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch. Man, we just really enjoy going over there. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, I absolutely love it. And the people are so nice. I mean, they have got the greatest servers over there, and love the location, and we're just really tickled with Thomas and the rest of the crew at Denny's Restaurant. You will be too. Located at 611 Overland in Burley, and they've got another one at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Denny's Restaurant, the food and the service is fantastic. Also want to say thank you very much to our friends at Berry Equipment and Rental. Oh my goodness, are they busy right now? They've got 0% financing until June 30th on Walker mowers and no payment for up to 120 days. Oh, cut the grass in class. You better believe it. Berry Equipment and Rental, 3 locations, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, South Lincoln and Jerome, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. They've got all the equipment to get any and all jobs done right. You be sure and get a hold of them today. Super good folks. Twin Falls, Jerome, and right there at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Berry Equipment and Rental. All right, let's get some calls coming in here. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You talk about these humane rights groups for animals, and they are probably the least humane as to what they want to do, what they expect, what they will do. And my concern is on the 1 to 10 scale right now, right peaking at a 9.9. I'm very concerned because animal agriculture could be in severe jeopardy. Circuses, rodeos, horse shows, FFA, 4-H events, the list goes on, dog shows, you name it. Any and all animals that are used, again, I want to say that word used, not abused, would be in jeopardy of perhaps this court ruling. If the judges that will take a look at these various cases, rule in favor of, like in this case, the chimpanzees as persons. Very, very dangerous, very serious repercussions in our society. So we'll keep our eye on that case. Another case that is very dangerous this morning, and I am going to be doing many topics on this next week, is the water issue with the EPA. I know that I have in my hand Congressman Mike Simpson absolutely denouncing the EPA's announcement of the change and increased regulations on waters of the United States. I have a notice here from Mike Crapo, and says Congress must act immediately on bipartisan legislation to rein in the EPA overreach, and the list goes on and on. This brand new power, Gestapo power with the EPA, could be a death knell to a lot of agricultural practices. It could absolutely destroy private property ownership. And EPA Chief Gina McCarthy, I don't trust her. She had a story in the paper this morning, and anything with the EPA is very concerning right now. And as a matter of fact, I've got calls into Idaho Water Users Association President Norm Semenko. I'm going to be talking next week also to Bert Stevenson and many others, as far as the ramifications of what this EPA ruling will and possibly do to all of us. It's a never-ending cycle. You always got something to worry about. And I'm just trying to give you the news so that we can be informed and be aware. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh, by the way, next week we're going to have some more folks on with the Minnecasia Relay for Life. And anything we can do to help garner funds to help fight the various degrees and serious matters of cancer, we will do anything on this program to help contribute. The Minnecasia Relay for Life on Friday, June 19th and June 20th, starting at 6 p.m. on the 19th at the Cassia County Fairgrounds with the opening ceremonies and going all the way till the next morning on the 20th. Minnecasia Relay for Life, helping to fight cancer. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. Did you hear, and I saw this on the news last night, and I sat back in my lazy boy and I said, what? How could anybody be this careless with our United States Army and our federal government people? They found out yesterday that live anthrax had been sent through the United States mail. Not only once, but it actually crisscrossed this country, originating from Utah and going to the East Coast, going to the West Coast, going back to other Western states. 9 different states. Live anthrax. And finally somebody said, oops, it's a live version of anthrax. It was not the negative strain. How could this happen? Now, we do not know at this time. I'm still trying to get more information, and quite frankly, all of the news media is trying to get more information on this as to who handled this, how it happened, how it got put in the mail, how it was carried. I mean, my goodness sakes, the ramifications of this story are extremely scary. But live anthrax, which is deadly, sent through the mail. Holy cow. Every day you've got to sit back and kind of scratch your head a little bit and say, what is going on? Where's the leadership? Where's the responsibility? And then you have to sit back and say, evidently there is none. All right, give me a call, please, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh, another little story that maybe you should worry about. Soccer is in trouble. Yeah, oh boy, FIFA, FIFA, the organization, the head unit for soccer nationwide and worldwide, is in a lot of trouble. You know why? Because now it's known that a lot of the leaders of FIFA were involved in over $150 million worth of bribes and kickbacks. And the whole organization is in a turmoil this morning. How do these people do this? I mean, this is a scandal that on money and kickbacks. Can you imagine if it was Major League Baseball? Can you imagine if it was the National Football League? Can you imagine if it was the NBA? I mean, the magnitude of who and what it would represent. And now these people that head up FIFA, the soccer organization, there's a lot of bad folks involved, evidently, for bribes and, like I said, kickbacks, and there's people that have got to go. They've got to get in there with a big broom and clean up this whole mess. More graft of money now in the soccer world. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, give me a call. Every Monday, we give away a half dozen cinnamon rolls, absolutely phenomenal cinnamon rolls from Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street over in Rupert on the square. And all you have to do is answer a question, and then you might be the lucky winner. Don't forget, they're open 6 to 6 weekdays, 6 to 2 on weekends. Great place to eat. What a bakery, too. Sophie's Chatterbox on the square in Rupert. Really nice people. You stop over and see them today. All right, I'd love to hear from you, so give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to get into a little story about Big Macs and Mickey D's and Gitmo. We'll do that in just a few minutes, but while I'm waiting for some of the calls to come in this morning, I also want to remind you about Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. I had a chance to visit with Christine Pickup yesterday, as a matter of fact, the doctor of audiology right behind the Minidoka Hospital across from the emergency room, and the number to call for a hearing screening appointment is 312-0957, 312-0957. You call her today, please. And by the way, I didn't know this, but current smokers have a 70% higher risk of having hearing loss than do non-smokers. Did you know that? Well, you get a hearing screening today, and maybe the little problems you have with your hearing can be rectified. You get a hold of Mount Harrison Audiology at 312-0957. And right now, here is the Capital Press Ag Minute.
Today's Ag Minute brought to you by the Capital Press, the West Ag Weekly.
The fight over U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Clean Water Act rule is entering a new phase now that the controversial regulation has been finalized. Opponents of the new rule are expected to galvanize political pressure against it and potentially resort to litigation against the government. Agriculture groups fear that the EPA's new interpretation of the statute will greatly expand its authority over any water and farmland, while the agency contends the rule is necessary to clear up uncertainties about the law's scope. An initial review of the nearly 300-page final rule indicates that the EPA hasn't resolved the industry's main concerns about regulatory overreach, says Dustin Van Loo, Executive Director of Public Lands Council, which represents ranchers who rely on public grazing. For the Capital Press Ag Minute, I am Raul Peña.
For more agriculture news and information, turn to the West's Ag Weekly, the Capital Press, and capitalpress.com.
Yeah, I really got some concerns about this water issue, and I cannot wait to get people on my program that really can answer that. Thank you very much to Mount Harrison Audiology and Christine Pickup, Doctor of Audiology, right across from the emergency room at the Minidoka Hospital, 312-0957. Get a hearing screening today. You know, the way I interpret this, and if there's somebody out there that I'm sure there are a lot of people that know more about this proposed EPA water issue than I do, but I'm very, very concerned because the way I interpret some of their rules and regulations is that if there is, especially after all this rain that has fallen here in the last couple of weeks. You know, supposing on my property it's possible, on your property it's probably possible, you know, the ponding and everything, and that water, of course, might leach or run into a canal, a tributary, which they say they govern, the EPA, and they say it might cause a diminishment of value of the water quality, etc. What are they going to do? Are they going to come in and fine us for something that nature provided and we have nothing to do with? I don't know. But it seems to me like we're opening a Pandora's box with the EPA basically having Gestapo modes and methods that they can come in and really put the handcuffs on private property owners and agriculture in general. It's very, very spooky. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
You know, Zeb, they want to do this, and I believe, you know, if we don't watch out, they will. But there also is an issue with enforcement, and I think they pick and choose who they want to mistreat, and it doesn't matter how badly that person might suffer, as long as he is an example to the rest of us. And see, you know, so in other words, they couldn't enforce it across the board, but they can beat hell out of some of us. And so it's a scary thing. But you see, every day there's a new crisis coming at us.
Yeah.
We're getting slugged and slapped and hit and
you know, Randy, I'll tell you, what you just said, though, is very important. And caller number 2, don't go away. I'll be there in just a second. Whether it's the EPA with their new water rules and regulations or whether it's the refugee program, Randy, I'm going to tell you right now that next week on this program, I am going to go into this refugee program, especially as to what's happening right here at CSI in Twin Falls area. It's going to absolutely knock your socks off as to how well orchestrated by the left, and funded by George Soros, that the money for the refugee program is very dangerous to all of us. That's another one to worry about, Randy.
Oh, very much so. And that's the reason why the board over there at CSI and ZZ, the director, I don't know if you can get him on the air or not. And then, of course, one more thing quickly. This chimpanzees having human rights, if they set this precedent, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be hell to pay.
Absolutely. In more ways than just statements like that. I mean, it's going to open up a Pandora's box of problems that we can never recover from. Randy, I appreciate your call. God bless you, man. Thanks. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Zeb. Yeah, you know, I've tangled with the EPA a lot personally, and so they don't work on science. And like a few years ago, we had a real bad winter, and there was runoff from frozen fields, and of course the dairy guys got hammered. And with these new rules, it'll be even worse when we have those kind of conditions. And but like I say, they as long as we keep feeding the beast, meaning our Congress men and senators keep funding this tyrannical, unconstitutional agency. And just to remind you people out there, this was never passed by an act of Congress. It was an executive order by Richard Milhouse Nixon. It was never put into law by Congress. And so they're just eating out our substance, running up our power bills, and doing away with coal. And, of course, they won't even look at nuclear, even though it's green energy. And so, you know, they have no scientific objective. It's a totally political objective. One other thing that's going on, in addition to what you've been mentioning, is this trade deal. You know, and both of our senators voted for that thing, and it's now in the House. We need a lot of calls. Every phone call or email represents 1,000 people. So, folks, don't think somebody else is doing it for you. Get on the phone, send those emails, and let them know how you feel on these issues. And if you're not informed on it, get on internet, the newamerican.com, and you can get all the information you want on these trade agreements to find out how bad they really are.
All right, I appreciate it, Adrian.
Jobs are going to go.
I appreciate it, and I respect that, because I've done a lot of research into this trade bill as it stands, and I have a lot of questions. I'm looking forward to Wednesday as far as having Mike Crapo back on the program. I hope his managerial staff does not cancel like they did last week, and that's one of the main questions I'm going to ask him. Thank you for your call. I appreciate it. I got to get a commercial in here. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you. I want to remind everybody about Minnecasia Sales. We're very, very honored to have Zach and the whole crew at Minnecasia Sales sponsoring Dr. History on Tuesdays. That's right. 1321 East Main Street in Burley, right across from the airport. They've got everything for your spring remodeling, all your lumber packages, all your shingles, all your windows, all your carpet. I mean, everything right there at Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley. And you stop in and see Zach today. Really good folks. Oh, and by the way, let me see here. I got to get this done here really, really quick. Want to remind you, too, about Lennox with Ramsey's. Oh, my gosh, what did I do with my paper? There it is. Ramsey Heating and Electric offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems, gas furnaces, air conditioners, and heat pumps through our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, 678-0459. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, the EPA, as Adrian said just a moment ago, and very, very correctly, was never a Congress-appointed organization. They have assumed powers like a thug, like a bunch of punks. And right now, farm and industrial groups have called the new ruling an EPA power grab. And boy, I am worried about this, and we'll talk about that more in a moment. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, Zeb, I just wanted to respond to what Adrian said. Both of our senators are for this trade deal. I know this is off the subject, but I wanted to get it in quick. And so is Farm Bureau. In the Farm Bureau magazine, they're in favor of this trade deal, and I just can't see how they can justify their opinion, and that's all I wanted to say.
No, well, wait a minute. I've read this, all the information I can get about this trade deal, and there's a couple of questions I have, and I'd like somebody to set me straight, and nobody so far has been able to answer it correctly. There seems to be some loopholes in this trade bill to where we, the United States, would be very susceptible for job loss here in this country and going to other countries. We would be very susceptible for more possible illegal immigration far and above the numbers that we have already. And I look at this thing to where our American agricultural program, in accordance with what that one female economist told us about 3 weeks ago, basically could suffer, whether it's the San Joaquin Valley in California or whether it's here. I'm not in favor of this trade bill because I'll tell you, Randy, I think there's too many gray areas.
Well, very, and if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. You have to go in to read this bill. You got to go in, and then you can take notes, and they won't even let you read it. And then you have to. Then you can't keep your notes. And now, if this isn't, I can't even imagine how it is that we're in such a situation where we're voting on a bill. It's a convoluted mess because the fast track to it. Cloture. There's so much to it, Zev. I just better shut up and let it go.
Well, no, I don't think we should all shut up. I don't think in any way, means, or shape we should shut up. I mean, whether it's the EPA with regulation more on our water, whether it's these trade agreements, whether it's the under-the-table deals with Iran on nuclear, boy, I tell you what, we've got a lot to think about and worry about, and as a populace, we should be involved. Randy, thank you again for your call. I appreciate it. God bless. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. I just turned it on now. On this trade deal, all these people that owe us billions of dollars throughout the world, that's going to be wiped out?
You know, that is something that I can't verify in this trade bill, but I have heard rumors about that, about a declination of the debt and an acceptance of now a status quo. I hope that isn't true, Tony, but I have heard and read certain things about that, yes.
Yeah, I've heard this about 2 weeks ago, that we're really going to get it. The taxpayers are going to pick up the tab for this.
Yeah. There's just too many gray areas, my friend. These trade deals, and again, I'm repeating myself, whether it's this EPA with the new water regulations. Tony, I'm telling you, whether you live in town or whether you're out in the country, any and all of these things should worry everybody.
Well, this whole administration is a gray area. And this guy is out now campaigning while the world is burning.
Yeah, I just shook my head last night when I watched the news, and I honestly can't imagine how this country could elect Barack Obama not once but twice, and this country, the left, might even stick Hillary Clinton in the Oval Office. Oh my gosh, Lord help us.
That's the end of the world if she ever gets it.
Oh, my. I can't agree more. Thank you, Tony. God bless you, man. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Brian. Bye.
We got some real problems. It's kind of like the old "there's trouble in River City." Oh, my goodness sakes. But I am going to pursue this stream protection, they say, with the EPA and water use. And then, of course, going back to my first story of the morning, these animal rights. Look at all the things that are changing your world, and that are very, very serious to all of us, whether it is the chimpanzees as persons, and people are out there snickering and saying, ho, 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 that's kind of funny. No, it's not funny at all. It's not funny at all. It could totally eliminate animal agriculture. It could totally eliminate you having maybe a 4-H steer, a horse project, sheep, whatever. I mean, these are very serious issues that need to be addressed. And the water and everything else that we've talked about. It's really serious what's going on in this world today. And we all need to get more involved. One of the things, I got to say this, I have in my hand a 9-page kind of a survey letter that was sent to me by my dear friend, Professor Randy Givens down in Texas. And it deals with the under-the-table attitude of bringing in refugees to not only our area, but all across the United States. And I think it will shock you, absolutely shock you, and I can validate everything I'm going to say next week as to where the money's coming from, how the money is being distributed, and a group of people that are ready at a moment's notice anywhere in the United States to go and offer rebuttals to people like me and put us down and really throw negativity on us if we question the refugee program here in the United States. Callers, stay with me just a minute. I want to remind everybody about Streamline Precision, 120 South, 100 West of Burley. The number to call Tim Vaughn, 431-7314, for any and all estimates on what you need built on your property. Streamline Precision is a family of companies providing construction, excavation, and fabrication services. And boy, they can put up all the on-the-farm grain bin storage. They're authorized dealers for Sioux Cup, Chief Balin, and Nucor buildings. They can build anything. So get a hold of them today for estimates. Tim Vaughn, 431-7314, Streamline Precision. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. How many times are we going to get kicked in the head before we realize what's being done to us? I go back to this NAFTA thing. I'm not a farmer, but I knew it was not a good thing. But yet, at that time, the president of the Farm Bureau said, no, this is a good thing.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, he should know more about it than I do. But I don't think it's turned out very well. And I don't think this new one's going to turn out any better.
You know, on trade agreements, and I will say this, I look at trade agreements not for what it's going to do for somebody else, but I want to see what the trade agreement is going to do to help us and also what it might do to hurt us. And I'm sick and tired of these people saying, well, it'll open up avenues of free trade, and these people over in Brazil and Argentina and Taiwan and everybody else, they'll have more of an open... Wait a minute. I'm not in this kind of thing as an American citizen to wanting to help everybody else make money and maybe hurt us. That's my biggest concern.
Well, and about this chimpanzee, is it part of the monkey family or?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The primates, yeah.
Okay, remember here a few years ago, this lady in Florida had this pet monkey she took everywhere with her and everything. And one day, it just all of a sudden tore her face off.
Oh, yeah.
Beyond recognition.
Yep.
What is human about that?
Well, I'll tell you something, Keith. I think the enormity of this problem of animal rights, and I knew 10 years ago, I was on this program and I said, look out, the animal rights activists, the HSUS, the PETA people, everybody else, they were going to channel their resources and funding into where they could come up with some reason to abolish any and all animal usage and animal agriculture. And boy, I'm telling you, this court case is very, very serious. Got to go. Listen, I got to get the weather in, Keith. Thank you for your call. God bless you, man. Thanks. Hey, we got to get the weather on real fast. And the weather this hour is brought to you by Mad River Laser, Nicole and the rest of the crew, and they've got all kinds of great things for Father's Day. You know, you can get like the aprons that says Dad's the best cook in the world, or maybe you need to get the buck knives and have them engraved with his name on it. They got all that over there, or coffee mugs, whatever, and they got all the wherewithal to make up anything and everything for all the June weddings, you know, the announcements and everything, and they've got all the business promotional items for the parades coming up this summer. Wonderful. And they do the best job you've ever seen. Mad River Laser, 502 East Street in Rupert. Number to call, 436-2293. Here now, Michael Rogers weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers, up at the ranch. If you are keeping score at home, total rainfall for Burley since this rain started at the beginning of the week, you have 4 inches of water in the bucket. Yes, you have 4 inches of rain of water in the bucket, and now you're through the worst of it. You're going to come out of it tonight, and you're going to have a nice day tomorrow, and you're going to have a nice day on Saturday, and then you pick right back up where you left off on Sunday night. Can't say it no more plainer than that. Now, the temperatures are going to start to rise. You'll hit 75 for the high today. You get up to about 80 for tomorrow, 83 by the time you get Saturday. By the time it starts raining again, you'll be down to a daytime high of about 75. That's going to be on Sunday. So, all of that being said, you're done with the worst part. So enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. Brought to everybody this hour by Mad River Laser. Man, they are good. You stop over and check it out. And don't forget, too, it's trophy season. All the trophies you need for the Little League Baseball and soccer and everything else right there at Mad River Laser, 502 East Street in Rupert. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, we need to get involved. I say that every day on the program, and people sit back and go, oh, yeah, we need to get involved. Yep. Somebody better do it. Boy, I hope old Zeb goes after them. I hope old Zebra gets them on the air. But you know what? It's not just me. It's not just me. We ought to be very vocal as a unified voice and let Crapo and Rish and Simpson and Labrador and Butch and everybody else know there's some unhappy campers here. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. I'd like to make one more point. We've discussed Agenda 21, and the part of Agenda 21, which is a UN deal back in 1993, and that's being implemented by the EPA. And part of Agenda 21 says that they want to control everybody and everything on the planet. And this new water rule is just part of that total control. So that, and the whole environmental movement, as you well know, has nothing to do about improving the environment. It has everything to do about controlling us and making us world citizenships under UN control. And so get us out of UN. There's a bill, HR 1205. I don't know who the congressman's sponsor is, but we need to be camping at the UN, whether it's this child treaty that was just passed by the legislature, unfortunately, or EPA is just implementing the Agenda 21, and they're just in marching step. And Gina McCarthy, and the environmentalists are making sure that when the comment period comes, they have all their people call in, make these comments, and sound like it's a majority want these rules, when in fact it's just the environmental radicals, along with the EPA's unscientific bureaucrats, that are making these edicts on us, and we're all paying the price.
I agree. Adrian, I got to run and do a commercial, but thank you, and it's very well stated. Thank you very much. You know,
have a great day.
Thank you, sir. My concerns are that we have so many different smoke screens to take care of right now. We've got the EPA. We've got national security with ISIS infiltrating our borders. They might even be right here in this area. Who knows? We've got so many things to worry about, and I think this is a planned perspective of the left. You know, go ahead, have something happen over here, create this problem over here, create another problem over here, to the point where we're standing in the middle of the circle and we don't know where to look next. That's what's happening right now. And do we have responsible leadership? No. Do we have leadership that will stand up and say, wait a minute, we're going to pick up a great big club and we're going to start weeding out some of the problems here? No. We do not have leadership that is standing up for we the people, not standing up for our concerns. All they do is go in behind closed-door sessions and make up little special deals that are going to further their agenda and their cause. And this EPA water regulation is one of those behind closed doors to further their cause and their agenda to, I think, destroy property rights and private property ownership. If I'm wrong, I'll apologize. I don't think I'll have to apologize. Don't forget our friends at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. You talk about a great team of physical therapists, and I mean they are a team, headed up by Nick Greenwell. This is a staff of people that absolutely know all the exercises, all the sports medicine, can help you get back to feeling and being you. Call them today for an appointment, 678-1191. That number again, 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Excellent, folks. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, Zeb, one quick question. Whatever happened to town hall meetings?
You know, they kind of went by the wayside, didn't they?
That's what we need.
Well, okay. All right. Let me throw this at you. I think the College of Southern Idaho, I think that they were, and this is my own opinion until they prove me wrong, I think they were very clandestine. I think they were very under the table in working and negotiating a refugee program through the college, which gives them extra money and funding. I think that should have been public notice, and we should have had town hall meetings over that. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And that's where you come in.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know about this.
Yourself can, you know, you're something, a very positive thing that's happening in this valley, and maybe if you put it out more often, you can get something going.
Well, I absolutely think that we should all have town hall meetings for any and all subjects. And I appreciate the conversation with you, Tony, and I will do anything I can to make the public more aware. But it takes other people besides me. It takes a unified voice. It takes people like you, takes people like Randy, takes people, all the people that listen. They can't sit back and say, well, I hope Zeb gets that organized. Tony, I can't do all things for all subjects.
Well, absolutely not. I hope with all the trouble we're having now, people are starting to realize how important these things are going to be, and you get a whole lot more support.
Well, I tell you what, there's a couple of items that I was really shocked. I got to tell you this. When I read all the information in that 9-page study about what the refugee program is, what it does, what the insidious people behind it want it to do. And I don't think, and I'm going to say this and I'll stand corrected, I don't think there's one CSI board member, I don't think there's one CSI administrator that has a clue as to how dangerous that refugee program can be.
Well, the trouble with the refugees, they're coming here, they're going on welfare, getting all the goodies, and you and I end up going broke paying for it. The next thing it is we'll be on welfare.
There's a lot of holes in the screen door, Tony. I got to do a commercial, buddy. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, sir.
I'm absolutely going to get people on the air this next week, and we're going to do a comprehensive study into the refugee program. Now, I've got big shoulders. If I've made a mistake or have said or stated something wrong about the refugee program, I will apologize. But I don't think I have. Don't forget the free pre-trip safety check at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh, my goodness, are they busy making sure that you can go to Aunt Louise's over in Gunnison, Colorado, or Aunt Martha and Uncle Fred's, whatever. They have the best in tires. You know that. And right now on sale, they've got the Wildcat AT2 for the light truck and SUVs, all-season traction. And the best tire value promise in the industry. And they know all about brakes. Best brake value promise in the industry. These folks are good. Front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries. I mean, it's all there. Safe driving, fine, fun driving. Thanks to your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. Yep, the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Whew, that hour went quick. Thank you for all your phone calls. Thank you for all your input. And right now, we're going to send it back over to Wheels at our main station, and we're going to get ready for CBS News to come in here. Next hour, the Chamber Report, Dog Nation, Rita Ramsey, just to mention some of the segments. Don't go away. Zeb at the Ranch. I'll be right back. What'd you turn the music off for? I wasn't ready to go yet. Good morning, everybody. Zeb at the Ranch, and brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers. And they are Valleywide Home and Ranch at 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Everything for the farm, the home, and the ranch at Valleywide. And our friends at Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
Always at your disposal is 100% correct. They are. And get on the route service and have your garbage picked up every week. It's gone. It's out of there. Absolutely the best folks. Locally owned and operated. Western Waste Services. Check on the great big dumpsters in various sizes. Clean out the garage. Oh, I know it's a chore, but it's got to get done. And fill them up and then call them and they'll come get the dumpster. I'm telling you, they are good. Western Waste Services, 734-6969. Always at your disposal. You know, as I say every day on this program, I thank the good Lord above for not only the audience that I have for this show, but also the absolute best cream of the crop advertisers and sponsors. And thanks go to Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert with Joel Heward, his family, his staff, always there to serve you with very flexible hours because they're there when you need them. That's right. And they always treat you with the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity, trying to help you with all the arrangements when there's the passing of a loved one. So please get a hold of them today. Call them, 436-5636, 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary, serving you. Well, my goodness sakes, look who's on the other end of the line. I can see her. She's sitting there in the sunshine through the window. I've got my new Vista phone. Good morning, Kay Cameron, Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning, Zeb Bell.
How are you?
I'm great. It's a beautiful day today. It's nice to see the sunshine.
Yeah.
Everything is green and beautiful.
You better get outside with a camera and take a picture of the sun because I forgot what it looked like. Send it to me.
I know. It's crazy, but it is a beautiful day, and I will say that all of this rain that we've had in the last week and a half has just made everything green and lush. It's very beautiful.
Absolutely. Now, with a green, lush, vibrant spirit, tell us what's going on at the Chamber of Commerce office.
Well, one thing I want to talk about today, sometimes my job gives me the opportunity to experience really cool things. And yesterday I had the opportunity to go out to the spillway out to Minidoka Dam as they had their grand opening celebration of their new spillway. And what a spectacular thing that they have done out there. First of all, our forefathers had such a great thought when they put in that dam, 100 years ago. And the things that it has created for our region here in the Minnecasia area has been astounding. But to be able to go out there and participate in the process and to see the new facility and walk across the bridges and to just be out there and be a part of it was really quite awesome.
You said something a moment ago that I'd like you to elaborate on a little bit. When we look at the mechanics, if you will, of how things were built, how things were constructed, and the why, and how it would serve us, the people of 100 years ago plus, they were geniuses figuring out the water system, etc., that would last all the way through today.
Absolutely. I can't even imagine the processes that they had to go through and the risks really that they took.
Right.
Because it was a big risk that they took. But, I just can't imagine what it was like to be back there then when, they were able to block it up and send the water down the ditches and start the process of irrigation here in the Minnecasia area.
Absolutely. And, I think you, growing up on the farm and with agriculture, you probably really have an appreciation for everything, the way it's built and how it was built.
Absolutely. And to just see the amount of concrete that is out there, it just kind of blows your mind. And
absolutely.
Well, how do they, I always wonder, how do they build that dam without the water going down the river? I know that they have processes that do that, and I didn't have the opportunity to go out there during the process, but to just be able to walk out there and to experience it, it was quite awesome.
Well, do you have any projects coming up or anything as far as events that you want to highlight this morning?
Well, one event I want to talk about, and it's happening today, and if anybody's out there doing some job searching, maybe looking for a change or is unemployed, Fabri-Cal is having a job fair today. Now, Fabri-Cal is a new plant that has announced they will be opening up this fall. They've broken ground here in Burley, and they are searching currently for employees. And at the Department of Labor today, either from 2 to 4 or 6 to 8, you can go over to the Department of Labor for a job fair, and they're looking for process technicians, maintenance technicians, and machine operators. So anybody out there who's maybe looking for a change or looking for a job, or if you know somebody who's looking for a job, send them over to the job fair to learn about Fabri-Cal. This is a great company. We're thrilled to have them here in our community, and I just hear wonderful things about them, and so I think they would be a great place to work and a great company to work for.
Absolutely.
So, anybody who is interested, go check it out.
Have you started having visitors already over at the Chamber of Commerce office and especially in the gift shop?
Yes, we have. In fact, and this week with graduation week upon us, with all of the different high schools having their graduations all different nights this week, we actually had a lovely lady here yesterday from Texas whose grandson was graduating, and she just went crazy. She just had so much fun here, and it's so fun to visit with them and to, talk about the experiences going on where she's from, because they were experiencing flooding in her hometown because they've had all that flooding in Texas. But it's just fun to visit with the visitors. But yes, we've seen an influx in visitors, and that will continue to increase throughout the summer.
Now, next week we will be involved in the first week of June. Is there anything you want to highlight this week leading up to next month, June Dairy Month?
Oh, not anything in particular. Just be safe. It's end of school is this week, and so next week you're going to see kids all over. And so everybody just drive safe and keep an extra eye out for all this.
Kay, I know you have little ones, and I think what you just said right there needs to really be emphasized. There's going to be a lot of kids on the road that drivers aren't used to in the morning. They're going to see them on bikes going maybe to swimming, maybe going to Little League practice or whatever. Wow, watch out for those kids, because they're not going to watch out for you.
That is correct. Watch out. And also just be aware, there's a lot of things for your kids to do this summer. Nothing coming up right away, but the libraries have fabulous reading programs for kids, and they're awesome. My kids are looking forward to them. There are the swimming pools will be opening up, like you said, the swimming, the Little Leagues. There's science camps. The College of Southern Idaho has great programs. They do summer camps and different things, so check out the local Mini-Cassia CSI Center here in Burley and see what they have to offer. Check with your libraries. Come check with us, because we try to keep our hands into a little bit of everything and try to know what's going on. But there's a lot of things to keep your kids busy this summer. Okay,
and how would anyone get a hold of the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce?
Come by and see us. We're located at 1177 7th Street in Hayron on the beautiful Snake River. Give us a call at 208-679-4793. Find us online at minicashiachamber.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and connect in LinkedIn.
Okay. God bless. Have a great day. Thanks, Kay. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All righty. Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce and the director, Kay Cameron. Thank you very much. Oh, we got to pay some bills here real quick, and then we'll take some more of your phone calls. Don't forget Streamline Precision at 120 South, 100 West of Burley. I had a lady call me the other day, and she said, "What is this Streamline Precision?" Well, I said, it's a family of companies providing construction, excavation, and fabrication services. They can build anything. They can put up on-the-farm grain bin storage. They're authorized dealers in Sioux Cup, Chief, Balin, and Nucor buildings. And right now, as a matter of fact, straight south of where I'm sitting right now, they're building the brand new Funk Dairy in Murtaugh, and they've got all the equipment to handle your dirt hauling needs with the big side dump trucks. They can do it all. All you have to do is call and get an estimate or ask questions of Tim Vaughn at 431-7314. That number again, 431-7314. Streamline Precision in Burley, the professionals building for you. Once again, I want to highlight the fact that I take my hat off and give a salute to any and all the people that are involved in the Mini-Cassia Relay for Life this year. And the Relay for Life is going to be at the Cassia County Fairgrounds from Friday night, June 19th through the next morning, June 20th. It's going to start at 6 p.m. on Friday night with the opening ceremonies, and I urge anybody and everybody to contribute and help funding research for cancer through the Mini-Cassia Relay for Life. And we're going to have a lot more with those folks again this next week. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I've got, excuse me, just a little bit here. And there's some public service announcements that I want to get on, that I need to get on to help some of these folks. Let's see. I've got a Saturday, this Saturday, May 30th, the Minidoka County Sheriff's Office is going to have a responsible rider course for ATV users. It's going to be from 9 to noon over at Let's Ride in Rupert. Really, really good folks over there. Once again, you better give them a call. Might be too late to register online, so give them a call at at either 434-2320 or 431-4379. That's the Minidoka County Sheriff's Office, this Saturday, responsible ATV rider course from 9 to noon at Let's Ride. Don't forget that. Then, another note that I want to highlight, and we're going to have our dear friend Jimmy Flowers on the air with us this next Monday. We're going to be talking about Classics on the Grass. This is a wonderful, wonderful car show. Minnecasia Auto Collectors 29th Annual Classics on the Grass. It's going to be at the Cassia County Fairgrounds in Burley on June 6 and 7. And Jimmy's going to come on the program this next week on Monday, and we're going to find out all about it. So don't forget that one more time on June 6 and 7, the Classics on the Grass, and that's at the Cassia County Fairgrounds in about 2 weeks. So don't you miss that. Got to pay some more bills here. I just talked about that responsible rider course for the ATVs over at Let's Ride. Well, let's tell everybody what's at Let's Ride. Absolutely. They're located at 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and Hayburn, and that is where the fun is sold. Oh, my goodness sakes. You better get on in there and check out all the ATVs. They've got all the ATVs, all the sizes, all the colors, everything. I mean, row after row on that showroom floor, and they've got all the new watercraft too, brand new watercraft to have fun on the lakes and in the streams and everything. I'm telling you what, it's fun over there at Let's Ride, and a wonderful service department too. So you check it out. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and Hayburn. Yep, where the fun is sold. And by the way, if you're going to be over on Highway 24 between Rupert and wherever, you stop over or give a call to Cameron and Siemens Insurance, and they're located on Highway 24 in Rupert. Now, write this number down. I just talked to Dean yesterday over there, and Todd. 436-4424. 436-4424. Make an appointment. Get over there and talk about your life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits. I'll tell you what, they really care. They're dedicated and responsive to your needs. So please give them a call today. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Where'd all these dogs come from anyway? Holy smokes, they're all over the place. I got a Dachshund over here. I got a Doberman Pinscher over there. My goodness sakes, and I understand we do not have Officer Ken Mort. He's not with us this morning, and we have old Wheels over at our station. Wheels, did they give you a whole bunch of information that you're going to tell me?
He just gave me a rundown, but I will do my best to let everybody know what's going on.
All right, now, first and foremost, we're talking about the Minidoka Animal Shelter, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, what do you got for us?
All right. Here I have that they currently have 8 6-week-old German short-haired pointer and lab cross pups that are looking for good homes. I have pictures of them right now on the computer, and
okay.
They are adorable. One is all black, and the other one is all black also, but you can tell that he has the pointer in him because of the gray legs, of course.
Okay, all right.
They are short-haired, like it says.
Okay.
And, like I said, they're looking for good homes. And
now, how many of these dogs are there?
There are 8.
8 of them?
Yes.
Why, you got your own family over there. They're all living at the station with you, right?
Oh, I wish. They are adorable. If I could take all 8 home, I would.
How big will they get?
I've seen German Shepherds, I've seen German Shepherds and I've seen Labs, and I could say that they're going to get pretty big.
Okay.
Anywhere between maybe 3 to 4 feet.
All right, now, wow. I mean, that's a big dog. You're not talking a horse, you're talking a dog, right?
Okay, yeah, okay, 2.
Okay.
Is that about right?
That's a little better. You scared me there for a minute.
Okay.
But now, what about information on these pups? Is there a time that they can get over and see them and pick one up and hold it and then take it home? I mean, what do they have to do?
I'm pretty sure that they have to go to the animal shelter for that.
Uh-huh.
And they can reach Ken on his cell phone, course, I don't have it with me pulled up right now.
Okay.
But I'm sure they could look it up in the phone book or look it up on the internet. They could actually get it on Facebook, and they should have it posted on there. And, you know, they are, like I said, they're looking for good homes, and they look cute, and they look lovely, and I'm sure that they would do great with kids, and if anybody has animals, I'm sure they'd do great well.
You know what? Now, post that on my Facebook page, and I'll be sure and look that up a little bit later. So there's 8 of those puppies, and they're in dire need of finding some love and a nice home, right?
Yes, sir, they are.
Okay, what else have you got for us?
Here we have, they are still needing help for raising money to purchase the kennels.
Okay.
They have currently raised just over $1,200, and they are very thankful for everybody that has donated everything that they can. And, you know, just if anybody can help them out, you know, just from me personally, that sounds great. They seem like they're doing a great job, and I'm an animal lover myself, so it's great that, you know, I'm able to see good pups and good animals being able to go to a home and they're not being treated poorly.
Well, now, Wheels, I'm going to say something, but if I'm wrong, I'll expect you to correct me if you have the right information. I understand the sponsorship of one of the kennels is like, what, $400 or something?
Yes, I believe so, around $300-400.
And they get their name on a little plaque and everything that they're the sponsor of that particular kennel, right?
Yes, sir, you are correct.
Okay. And then they need other things, too, like maybe the donations of dog food and bedding and that type of thing, right?
Yes, actually, this Memorial Day weekend, let's see here, Three Rivers, HS, Kristen Nordmark, and Karen Kirk Brockman went above and beyond to get a van and was able to transport the dogs for Herd U, so in that way they could get to their homes. And the Traveling Paws put it all together. And so this weekend for Memorial Day, most of the animals and stuff like that were able to get to their great places and stuff like that, and we're able to have a second chance at having a better life.
Okay, so basically a lot of people have jumped in and helped be volunteers to get these dogs to homes that are filled with love, and the future looks pretty good, right?
Yes, sir. And from what the pictures show, there's totes of stuff that just people have donated or just given to them, and
okay,
I'd say that's a plus in my book.
Well, I'll tell you what, old Ken Mort, he had to go someplace today, and he's going to be back next week, right?
Yes, sir. He had an event at one of the schools today.
Oh, my goodness sakes. And so all they have to do is just call Minidoka Animal Control, Officer Ken Mort, and more information. And once again, you're featuring, give us the breed of these puppies one more time, and there's 8 of them, correct?
Yes, sir,
all right.
is. And they are, like I said, they are 6 weeks old. And they are German short-haired pointers with a cross of lab. Okay,
German short-haired pointer pups crossed with lab, and there's 8 of them, and they're absolutely phenomenal little puppies, and they're looking for a good home.
Yes, they are adorable.
Okay. Do you have a dog?
Actually, I have 3 of them.
You got 3 dogs?
I do. Actually, to be honest, my family are pit bull lovers.
Oh, my goodness sakes.
And
you don't get many traveling salesmen knocking on your door, do you?
It doesn't seem like it, but I'll be honest, they are loving us as a family and as a unit. We've taught them to be loving and respectful of other people, and I'm telling you, even though we only have 1 pit bull left because the other 2 have unfortunately passed, the pit bull that we have, she currently has glaucoma.
Oh.
But she is the sweetest dog you will ever meet. She doesn't matter who you are, if you at least give her an open hand and some type of love and some warmth, she will come up to you and she will lick you like no tomorrow.
All right, I'll tell you what you need to do is remember this, because I think if not next week or maybe the week after, I've got them scheduled, I am going to have some folks on here, a husband and wife team, and the wife unfortunately has had some accidents, is in a wheelchair, but both her and her husband are involved in dog racing up in the cold country of Alaska and Canada, and we're going to have them on the air talking about this.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that will be interesting. Of course, I've just seen dog sledding on, movies or on TV, so it will be an experience to be able to hear it from somebody that actually does it.
What you ought to do is get a couple of Siberian Huskies and teach them how to drive, hook them up, and you could go across that Burley-Hayburn Bridge in no time flat.
Hey, one day, hopefully, I will able to do that, and I will let you know.
All right. Hey, Wheels, you did a great job. Where'd all these dogs come from anyway? Holy cow. Minidoka Animal Control. Officer Ken Mort is gone for the day. Wheels filled in. And don't forget, they've got those little puppies that need a new home. You call over there and they'll give you all the information, okay? Take care of that. Don't forget, too, our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric, along with Lennox, offering rebates on Lennox home comfort systems. Gas furnaces, air conditioners, heat pumps. Your family will enjoy the comfort. All you have to do is call 678-0459. Ramsey Heating and Electric, along with Lennox, providing you warm winters and cool summers, which is coming up here before too long. Let's see, what else have I got here that I have to take care of this morning before I go to the next segment? I think for the first time all week long, I am caught up. And so therefore, I'm going to go to the phone line right now, and I'm going to say good morning to a lovely lady, because it is now exactly 9:30, and it's time for Rita Ramsey. Good morning, Rita.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, I got to tell you something, Rita. Very seldom do I ever get down to the point where I feel like, oh, brother. I'm there this morning, though, because there's so much to worry about. Now the EPA has a new water regulation they're going to try to impose on us. We've got more trouble with ISIS. We've got more trouble now with the animal rights groupings across the country. We've got more trouble politically. Hillary won't answer any questions. My goodness, where do you want me to start first?
Maybe we should start on some good things.
Oh, name one, please.
Well, actually, I had two that I wanted to tell you about. I was reading an article, and there was a restaurant in Virginia Beach, and I believe Virginia Beach might be in Florida, but I'm not really sure. But anyway, it was a restaurant owner who, on a security camera, noticed that there was a guy going through her trash in the back. And it really disturbed her, and so she just kind of kept looking, and the only thing that he took out of there was food. And so the next time he came, which was probably the next day, they had left a letter for him, says that nobody in 2015 should go to bed hungry. You come through our front door and let us know that you're hungry and you can't afford it, and we will feed you.
Oh, now that warms my heart. And,
I just noticed a story on here, and I didn't quite read all of it, but the caption was, high school seniors at a specific high school, and I don't know exactly where it is, but somewhere around this country. High school seniors decided that they would give up their senior trip so that they could give the money to their, let's see, this says, high schoolers give up long-anticipated senior trip for, their principal had cancer. And so they were giving up the money to her to help her with her cancer.
Oh, my. Now, that is a very nice story.
There is some good stuff going on out there.
I want to add something to a story about feeding the homeless or those that are just less fortunate than the rest of us. Did you happen to see that picture that was going viral, and it was on many newscasts, of a little 5-year-old boy? And this took place about 2 weeks ago, and I think it was down at a restaurant in Florida. And him and his mother went into the restaurant for lunch, and he looked outside the window, and there sitting on the curb was a man that was really down and out. And the little boy, without any coaxing or anything from anybody else, went out and tapped the man on the shoulder, and he motioned for him to come in. And they sat the man down at the same table as the mom and the little boy, and they told him, the little boy said, go ahead and order whatever you want, and we'd like to have you have dinner with us. And just when the meal came, the little boy got up out of the booth and walked next to the homeless man and prayed grace over the food. It just broke my heart to see that. It was so heartwarming.
Well, you know, there are some good things happening out there, but there's so many bad things that we're just overwhelmed with it that it's hard to find the good things. But there are some good things out there.
You got to tell me, though, Rita, how? And I mean this. I asked you this last week, and I asked you the same thing a week before. How in the world does Hillary Clinton get away with not answering questions, not addressing the issues, and the media still fawns all over her? I'm amazed. How does she do that?
All I can say is that the media has either been threatened or they are so anxious to be included, and that could be a threat. We won't give you anything if you're not on our side. I just don't know to the extent of what the threats are, but I honestly believe that the main people in the media have been told, you will do this or else, and so they do it, and so everybody, not everybody, but the majority just kind of follow along and think, well, we have to be on that too, because I don't know if there is per se an email that went out to every news media organization around saying you better get in their camp or you're going to be in trouble, or whether it's just kind of unspoken, you better do it, or it's kind of like we're just going to squeeze out anybody who doesn't, and they've learned the hard way that they're going to get squeezed out, and so it's kind of like, well, if we want to get in on any of it, we better just get in there. And I think it's so much that they're just so used to it. The other thing is, and this is what makes me really kind of curious about it, is there are so many plagiarizers out there, and especially in the media, they won't do investigative reporting. They won't do the tough stuff. They just want to copy someone else's, and so it's like they're just a bunch of sheep following in the same direction, and we'll get bits and pieces, but there's nothing new, and we're all on board with the Democrats, and off they go. And they think that's good enough, and that's not the way it's supposed to be done.
Yeah, but Rita, you touched on it, and you said it very eloquently, but here we have a person that now 2 months ago threw her hat, so to speak, in the political ring to be the President of the United States. She has only answered approximately 10 questions regarding politics, world stature, etc. in that 2 months. And is the media that bought off? Are they that liberalized? Are they that much in the political campaign pocket of the Clintons that they're scared to? I think they are. What is the reason? Our media in this country is now, I think, comprised of, with the exception of maybe some reporters at Fox News, a bunch of people that have low intelligence and no courage.
Well, I think that it's just like you said, that they've kind of been bought off, or they're just in their camp. The excuse that a lot of them use is, well, she's not running against anybody right now, so why should she have to answer any questions? She doesn't have any competition.
I've got to ask you, and this is another kind of asking a lady to give a report on another lady. What were your thoughts when you heard that Marie Harf, yes, the blonde bombshell from the spokesman's department of the White House, was not fired, as many of us thought she would be because of some of her faux pas answering questions, but she was appointed as the senior advisor to John Kerry, the Secretary of State? What were your thoughts?
They don't believe in firing anybody or making it important to do your job well so that you can keep it or advance up the ladder. When you screw up, you just kind of shuffle so they can't target you anymore. And they're not interested in doing anything that would be advantageous. It's kind of like, well, let's just shuffle them around. We'll give them a different job so they're not in the target, and we can't cut their pay because that's against the law and everything else. So it's too bad she's got John Kerry, because that would have to be totally punishing.
Yeah, but her job is going to be the senior advisor in putting together and negotiating the Iranian nuclear deal. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to sweat. I need some right guard.
Well, when it comes to John Kerry, and he is anti-American, he has been since he testified against the veterans or testified against the military during the Vietnam War. He was anti then. He went in as a reporter. He was anti-military. He's anti-U.S. He still is. Or he would be saying, you can't be serious about me going to negotiate with the terrorists.
Yeah. Okay, next subject, and this is one that you know my feeling about this, and you know that I'm going to do some in-depth study on this problem, and I call it a problem because it's going to be, I think, exacerbated in the future to become a larger problem, and that is the refugees that are coming into this country from Syria. They are Syrian Muslim refugees, many of which are coming right here to this area through the refugee refugee office at the College of Southern Idaho. What are your thoughts?
Well, my first thoughts is I think we need to get a hold of the people at CSI and just literally drill them on why they are doing this. And it all comes down to one thing, and that's money. And I've said that before. But it makes me mad that they would bring people into our community who have not been screened. We don't know what they are, and they tend to, and this isn't going to be all of them, because there's probably some of them that will be really good people to have here, except that it's costing every one of us money to have them here. And so we shouldn't be doing that. First of all, we're dead broke. I guess maybe somebody didn't notice that we're $18 trillion in debt as far as the books go, but we're really 200 and some trillion in debt over all of the stuff that we owe on, which is, you know, the benefits and stuff for those that, any of the things that we've got promised. You're talking about pension funds and various different things like that the federal government owes. So we're totally broke. Here we are bringing in a whole bunch of these other people. It's up to the individual communities to find them jobs, help them to assimilate in. They don't want to assimilate. They want to stay with the same people that they know, because they all speak the same language and worship the same. And it will just be one big mess. I know that some of the people from Bosnia have actually assimilated in and done some of that, but this is getting to be a real big problem, because you've just got groups after groups after groups, and that's what's ruining Europe, and it's going to ruin us. I think if we were to do an in-depth study with the fall of the Roman Empire, we would find that they didn't keep their fences up, and they had people coming across their border trying to destroy them, and that's how it all got started.
We have a caller with a question. Go ahead quickly, caller. I need to speed right along. Go ahead fast.
Well, I'm going to make a comment or invite people. There's a meeting next. There's a group called ACT America, and they've got chapters all over the United States that are being formed, and there'll be a meeting next Thursday at the Rosenau Funeral Home. They have a meeting room there right down the road from just west of D&D Supply on Addison Avenue in Twin Falls at 7 o'clock next Thursday, the 4th of June. And for people to get together and discuss this Syrian refugee crisis, I call it, at that time. 7 o'clock next Thursday at the Rosenau Funeral Home there, just west of D&B Supply on Addison Avenue. So they need to be aware of that, and so maybe this is the way we can get more people involved. And they are, this Gabrielle, she's been on national TV, Hannity, and different places. I think she's spoken in western Idaho recently.
Well,
she won't be there.
Wait, just a minute.
People are realizing there's a real problem here.
Adrian, just a minute. Let me respond to this, Adrian. Listen to me. I know a lot more about this, perhaps, than what's being shown here, and I hope he's still listening. First of all, Brigitte Gabriel, it's not Gabriel, it's Brigitte Gabriel, is the head of Act Now for America. And I went to the speech that she gave in Caldwell 2 weeks ago. I was there, and I very much am supportive of what she's trying to do and how she's trying to educate America. And, Rita, I just want you to know that we're going to keep plugging this on the air. But this lady, Brigitte Gabriel, has dedicated her life to informing the American public as to how dangerous the Muslim and Islamic influence in our society is. And I'll let you go ahead and respond to that, please.
Brigitte is an excellent spokesperson, and she knows exactly what's going on and how when you have people come in and take over and they start actually doing things their way, which means you've got Sharia law, and if you don't believe, you're in big trouble. I would be interested to know, and I actually got an email on that meeting, and I'm going to try to make it, but I would be interested to know if we can get a representative from one of those board people from CSI to answer some questions, because I think they need to be put on the hot seat and give us some reasons why this is going to be good for our community, because as we see it, I don't see that at all.
Well, here's what I'm doing, and I don't want to jump ahead and say something until it actually comes to fruition. I am working on that. I am working with some of the people that were at the last minute meeting at CSI, the council of CSI, and I have some of the minutes, and I know some of the people that were involved in it, and we're going to do that, and I'm also going to try to get some of the, like you said, CSI board members all here in the studio, hopefully within the next week, so that we can share all the information as much as possible. But I am urging everybody to try to attend that meeting that Adrian was talking about just a little bit ago on June 4th, and I'm going to start really publicizing that next week on the air. So thank you very much, Adrian. I appreciate that. Also, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this EPA water ruling, and I'm going to talk to you about that right after we do the weather. So stand by. Caller, I'll be right with you. The weather forecast is brought to you this hour by Duck Uglies at 163 West Highway 30 in Burley. This is a phenomenal place to eat. You're going to love it. I mean, it's family-friendly, delicious meals, fantastic entertainment. Jack and the crew over there have hit a home run. And on Friday and Saturday nights, delicious smoked ribs along with all the menu choices. Oh, my goodness. And on Monday through Friday, they serve breakfast. And they've got the breakfast burritos, the greatest you ever tried, and you can call in and possibly in the Burley area have them delivered right to you. It's fantastic. Duck Uglies. Don't forget, 163 West Highway 30 in Burley. And now, here's Michael Rogers' weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers up at the ranch. If you are keeping score at home, total rainfall for Burley since this rain started at the beginning of the week, you have 4 inches of water in the bucket. Yes, you have 4 inches of rain of water in the bucket, and now you're through the worst of it. You're going to come out of it tonight, and you're going to have a nice day tomorrow, and you're going to have a nice day on Saturday, and then you pick right back up where you left off on Sunday night. Can't say it no more plainer than that. Now, the temperatures are going to start to rise. You'll hit 75 for the high today. You get up to about 80 for tomorrow, 83 by the time you get Saturday. By the time it starts raining again, you'll be down to a daytime high of about 75. That's going to be on Sunday. So, all of that being said, you're done with the worst part. So enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. Brought to you by a great place to eat and enjoy wonderful entertainment. Duck Uglies, 163 West Highway 30 in Burley. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Quickly.
Good morning, Zeb. I just not too long ago had a discussion with one of the city councilmen in Boise, and I asked him, I says, are you guys ready for the Syrians to come in here, and have you got any word on it? And this fellow is a Democrat, and he says, the what? And I told him, and he knew nothing about it, and he was a little perturbed, and he says, I'm really surprised that they didn't say something to us ahead of time.
Boise State University, Boise State University, along with CSI, are the two main locations of being responsible for bringing in the refugee units into the state of Idaho. Boise State and CSI. You're right, Dwayne.
I knew that, CSI, and I wasn't sure about Boise State.
Yep.
And he was a little shook up over it. He couldn't understand that at all. And he was very cautious, not to commit, politician.
I agree.
But it amazes me how this is taking place. And I also talked to somebody that works at the CSI, and it's not a relative. I do have relatives work there, but they don't share nothing with me. But this person is not a relative, and he told me that CSI got a lot of money for doing this. That's the bottom line.
Always follow the money trail. And Dwayne, I got to get Rita back on here real quick and have her respond.
Real fast, so.
All right.
Don't go after the CSI people. Go after the directors of that college. That's who needs to be hit.
Absolutely.
They get by. They're businessmen, and they get by with no scales at all. They need to be confronted with this and shake them up a little bit with their business.
All right, sir. I appreciate your call as always. Thank you. Rita, respond, please. I'm sorry. Thank you.
I don't know exactly the details on it, but I was speaking with a lady who's done a little bit of investigating on it, and apparently there are some people who are elected to a specific board to kind of take care of these things.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who are on the board at CSI are the same ones that are in the leadership positions over there. It isn't like, somebody from this neighborhood and somebody from that neighborhood. It's like they're all the same thing, and it's so that they can coordinate this. And I think this is one of those things where they're just hoping that nobody's going to watch, money's going to come into their coffers, and everything's going to be wonderful. But they are not thinking about their community and what kind of a hardship and maybe danger this could put us in.
And the other thing is, and I have a 9-page report that was sent to me this morning by my dear friend down in Austin, Texas, Professor Randy Givens, and this is part of a comprehensive plan that many of the programs connected to the refugee programs and the relocation has been funded by George Soros.
Oh, I think that now that you mentioned that, I've been thinking here recently, he's trying to totally break our economy. He's done that worldwide. In other countries, he's been banned from those countries. That's what he's doing, and he's got a bunch of these people on board with him. Everything seems to start pointing back to him, the various different nefarious things, and one day soon, and it's going to happen, and there's a lot of people who weren't on board before that are starting to see the stars come out and say, oh my heavens, we are in big trouble. And it's going to be our economy, but it's going to be other things as well. And there's just so many people that their eyes are closed, and it's like, everything's wonderful, instead of getting informed.
Rita, a lot of people might say, well, it's only 300 people, but then they forget on an annualized basis. This is not a one-time shot. They're looking at a recurrence of a colonization of these people coming in on an annual basis. And let's face it, after 10 years and a minimum of 300 people, you've got a fairly good-sized community of 3,000 already here.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing of it is they said that there's supposed to be 67,000 Syrians coming to our country. So it's not going to be just here, and they're going to be to where they can congregate, and maybe they won't be dangerous. I don't know. But should we not be taking care of business here instead?
All right, we have a quick call, very short call. Go ahead, please, quickly.
Yeah, anybody that knows history knows that it was the Syrians that went in and finished off the Jews and took them captive.
That's a good point. Very good point.
History repeats itself, and we don't need that here. But the other thing is let's say only 10% of them are radical. That's what, 70? That's 70 of them that's coming into twins. So,
I appreciate your call. Rita, wrap it up if you would, please.
Oh, he's absolutely right. And what happens is when those 7 get radical, a bunch of others do, because it's just one of those things that just kind of spreads like wildfire. And it won't be just a few. It will just get bigger and bigger. Look at ISIS growing around the world. I mean, they're pulling people from everywhere.
Yeah, and one quick point here, Rita. They'll say, well, they've all been vetted and they've been checked and they've all been looked at their backgrounds and everything. Wait a minute. Whoa. We've already had refugees at other locations around the country, be it Detroit, be it down in Georgia, etc., and Minneapolis, Minnesota is an example where these people have been radicalized and have caused problems. I'm not ready to have radicalization right here in Magic Valley.
Well, and as per the government, I read an article the other day that said these people, they don't even know who's going to vet them, if they'll be vetted or if they'll have time to vet them, which we know they won't. And so there you go.
I got 1 minute left. What's going on with the Tea Party? Real fast.
Well, I haven't actually confirmed for a speaker for our next meeting, but our next meeting is on I believe it's June 11th, which is a Thursday at 7 p.m. at the City of Burley. We're trying to bring in speakers that will get people informed as to various different things that are going on, and we need to have people come and attend and get educated so they can help their neighbors and their friends and everybody else get a little bit of education, because we are in big trouble, and I don't understand why everybody doesn't see that.
I wished I had more time. I always look forward to having you on the program. I didn't get a chance to talk about one of our dearest subjects, and that's the worthless Al Sharpton, but we'll try to get to him next week. How's that?
Oh, yeah, we can put that
off. Rita Ramsey, God bless. Have a wonderful day.
Okay, thanks, Ed.
All right,
Bye.
Thank you. Rita Ramsey, I always look forward to Thursdays, and she gives you an honest appraisal of what's going on in the news every week. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let's see, what else have I got here real quick? Once again, I want to remind you that next Monday we're going to have Jimmy Flowers on talking about the Minnecasia Auto Collectors 29th Annual Classics on the Grass at the Cassia County Fairgrounds in Burley on June 6th and 7th. Don't miss that. Right now, and boy, I am hungry too, it's time to tell you about some places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. Oh, am I ever. Listen to this. Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Oh, my goodness sakes. The Tamalito Burrito. Tamale-flavored chicken with rice smothered in jalapeno ranch sauce with cheese and lettuce. I'm drooling. And, of course, the taco salads and all the spicy chicken bacon ranch burger. All of this and more at the Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Delicious. Let's move on over to Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Food made the way you like it. Oh, my goodness sakes. They've got fantabulous French fries over there. The steak fries or the regular fries. And they got a kids menu is fantastic. And, of course, you got to try the pork chops with salad and choice of potatoes or the steak sandwich. I'm telling you. And then, of course, don't forget, too, Steve's nacho fries. Woohoo! Friendly servers, dedicated staff, really, really nice people at Steve-O's. Food made the way you like it. How about let's move over to Burgers, etc. Two locations, 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 North Overland in Burley. Oh, my goodness sakes. Do you know that after 3 p.m. in the afternoon, they've got hamburgers for only 99 cents? Unheard of. 99 cents. Are you kidding me? Yep, delicious. And don't forget, too, at the Burley location, the shrimp dinner special on Sundays. Oh, it is fantastic. You're going to love the menu. And don't forget, too, they got those delicious strawberry milkshakes. Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. Moving over now to, last but not least, the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Oh my. They've got the kids' baskets, and they've got the famous Farmer Brown burgers, and they've got the ranch burgers, and they've got that chicken fried steak sandwich. It'll just knock your socks off. Delicious. French fries, the special sauce, all the different flavors of the milkshakes, all of this and more at AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. And those Those are just a few places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. Boy, am I ever. What do we got coming up next hour? Well, we've got the Cache County School Days at 10:12, and then we're going to have our business salute at 10:23. Randy's going to be on from Tires West, Les Schwab. And then at 10:30 this morning, how does your garden grow? Vicky's Country Garden. We've got a lot of things coming up. Don't go away. Zeb at the Ranch, I'll be back in 6 minutes. Oh, my. Let the horses run. We've got one more hour to go. Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Whew, that scared me when that went off. Where was I? Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, our major sponsor, all 7 locations, and of course our great advertisers, including Western Waste Services, always at your disposal, 734-6969, locally owned and operated, and Valleywide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Everything for the farm, the home, and the ranch at Valleywide Home and Ranch. Don't forget Relay for Life. Minnecasia Relay for Life is going to be at the Cache County Fairgrounds on June 19th and 20th, starting on the 19th at 6 p.m. with the opening ceremonies. And next week we'll have a lot more information with some of the folks coming on the program talking about how we can garner funds for more research of the dreaded diseases of cancer. Don't forget Minnecasia Relay for Life on June 19th and 20th at the Cache County Fairgrounds. And oh, by the way, here we go. The Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. What is the special for today? Listen to this. Sweet and sour pork over white rice with veggies and super salad. Oh, I love sweet and sour pork. White rice. It's going to be fantastic. Always is. This special, along with all the great menu choices at the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. You stop in and see them today, okay? Let's see, what else have I got here? I think I got to read the note that Wheels sent me real quick, and it says Brandon is ready. That's all I needed to know. It's time for Cache County School Days, and Cache County School Days is brought to you by 2 wonderful businesses, Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley, and of course, don't forget they have the life-saving colonoscopies, the cataract surgeries, knee and hand surgeries, all these at dollars. That's a great big savings to you. Absolutely, you can save hundreds of dollars going through the Ambulatory Surgery Center, 1344 Highland in Burley. Number to call. Find out more information, 677-8888. 677-8888. They will help you. And let's not forget A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. Oh my goodness, they've got everything for the babies and toddlers, a great big sale. And of course, all the ladies, they got 20% off on hundreds of summer dresses. And they've got the play outfits, $15 up to size 7, and always free gift wrapping. You're going to love, oh, and summer toys too. A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. Bring you Cache County School Days. And right now on the phone is a teacher at Raft River High School, Brandon Sevier. Brandon, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, I'm reading this list of the different courses that you teach over at Raft River High School, and after I read everything, I said, well, they could fire everybody else. You can teach everything. You know everything.
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, but it is quite a list.
Well, I heard that when you go in for negotiation on your contract, you say, well, I can teach everything, just pay me. That's a good way to be.
That's right. That's a good negotiation.
All right. Now, Brandon, you are a teacher of earth and physical sciences, chemistry, biology, astronomy, and geology. Holy cow. How did you learn so much about all those different categories?
Trial by fire.
No, but what's your favorite?
My favorite is biology.
Okay. Why?
I really like learning about how things work in your body, what happens, how it functions. And, that leads to a lot of different answers about why we can do the things we can do with our bodies.
Okay, now,
why they're so fantastic.
When you have an appreciation for all these God-given talents and all these different courses, have you devised some kind of a exciting approach to help these students that you have want to learn more?
Well, I think one of the fun things we did this year with biology was in genetics. And we kind of compared genetics of like cattle and horses, some of the things that the kids around here are really into, and it's their livelihood. And so being able to learn about what different genes you can take and how those genes present themselves, that was a way to get them involved and to get them thinking, okay, so this is useful outside of the classroom.
Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about that. What are the percentages, like if you've got a really good stallion, a really good quarter horse, with really good background breeding and performance tested over the many, many generations, and you have a really good mare, also performance tested over the many, many generations? What are the percentages that you're going to get a pretty doggone good horse?
Well, I'd say the percentages are pretty good. You've probably got at least 75% chance that you're going to get a good quality horse. There is still that chance, though, that the stud horse and the mare could have a recessive gene that could cause, some type of crippling, debilitating genetic issue. Because if they both have that recessive gene, then that's going to present itself. But if they cover those with the dominant genes that are good, you're going to have a good horse.
No.
But there's still that chance that there's a recessive gene in there going to screw the whole system up.
Okay, but now this is what, and I don't mean to lower the class of what we're talking about here, but this is a way that these students can relate to this. I'm sure that whether it's a horse or whether it's the genetics of a better cattle herd, all of this plays into what you're trying to teach through biology, right?
Yes. Yep. Being able to distinguish certain traits with what is exhibited physically, but there's still that underlying factor of what is in there that you can't see, and how do you get to that, to the genetic coding, and being able to see what genes are present there that aren't present on the outside that you can see.
Do you think that this is an approach, or this is a part of biology, really getting into the genetics, that is long overdue as far as trying to upgrade a lot of our livestock herds?
Well, I think that's a big, we want the price of cattle to go up. We want to be able to, make some money with that industry, especially in this area. And, by looking into different genetics and being able to, I won't say pick and choose, but to be able to help our herds that way, that'll only increase their value. And can drive the cost up.
Let me ask you some questions about some of the other items and classes that you teach. Earth and physical sciences. Now, I'm just going to say this as a blanket statement, and I'm not necessarily ascribing to it, but don't we know right now today all there is to know about our earth and physical sciences, or are there new avenues, new openings that we're all of a sudden becoming aware of? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I think in science, I always tell my kids, it's okay to make mistakes. Sometimes mistakes are made in science. But that just opens the door for something else to come in and find out something new. Like with earth science, there's always something new coming up in the earth. Like we don't know everything that's there because we can't get there, like down to the inside, the very center of the earth. And so there's always new discoveries happening. So I always tell my kids to just be aware, pay attention to things in the news, what they hear, and bring that into class if they hear something that's come out.
All right.
That's what they're saying, and we'll research it and we'll look into that.
Let me ask you this question, because it ties into what I just asked a moment ago. I would assume, and I hope you'll agree with this or I'll have egg on my face, but I would assume that by applying earth and physical sciences also with like astronomy and the searching into the skies and the really knowing about what's out in the atmosphere, they all kind of tie together, do they not?
They do. They do. There is a common thread, I would say, among all the sciences, because in order to have the Earth functioning, there has to be some kind of biology. In order for us to exist here, in order for the stars, energy, anything in the Earth, it all ties together.
Okay.
There is a connection.
Now, you're also teaching geology. Now, I always thought when I was a younger child, I used to collect all kinds of different rocks, whether it was quartzite or whatever, and put together in little boxes, and then I'd label them and everything. What can a person really learn by studying geology?
I think one of the interesting things that we learned in class this year was how they came from, or where they come from, the different rocks and how they're formed. Not so much the rocks themselves, but like the processes they go through to look the way they do. And like the City of Rocks, we learned existed underground for several thousands of years, and that rock is granite.
Uh-huh.
And granite is filled in when it's created underneath the Earth's crust, and so when it comes up, there's no holes in it. It's all filled with different minerals.
Okay. And then the last course that you teach is chemistry. Now, I got to be honest with you. Mr. Sponham, my chemistry teacher, has long since passed away, but if he could climb out of his grave right now, he would still strangle me for some of the things I tried to do in his chemistry class. How do you teach it differently than maybe some of the renegades like me used to get away with murder in that chemistry class?
I really tried to simplify the chemistry class, because there's a lot of complicated information there, but it can be simplified to be better understood. We compared combining elements to make a molecule to a sandwich. If you have 2 slices of bread, you have to have 3 pieces of meat and a slice of cheese.
Mm-hmm.
What different elements do we come up with that can make that? What are we left with? Things like that. And if we can only have 3 slices of meat, we can only have so much of one molecule. It kind of presents it in a simpler way to, allow them to see the connection better that way.
Okay.
We went through a lot of the information together as a class, like walk through it, almost baby steps some of the time.
Okay.
Just to make sure they understood it.
Now, when you look at a class, how many students are in your class on an average? 18, 20, or how many are in there, the various classes?
On average, probably about 18.
Okay.
Some I have more, some I have a few less.
Now, when you look out at the students' faces, regardless of whether it's a chemistry class or an astrology class or astronomy, and you see somebody that's got kind of a twisted, contorted look that says, I don't understand, what do you do then? How do you make everybody stay interested and ask the question, what is this for anyway? I'm never going to use this later on in life. How do you go about keeping their interest?
I was a kid that asked that question all the time. I always thought, this isn't important. Why do I need it? And so I relate to them very well that way. And I'll come up with something from my life and my background and say, okay, I never thought I'd use this, but here's an instance where I used it.
Okay, all right.
And then go back to them and ask them what they want to do when they grow up and how they can relate it to that. Are you going to be able to use this?
I have always said, Brandon, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's not that a child doesn't have the mental capacity to learn most of the time. It's that because boredom, I think, takes over in the classroom and their mind wanders. I don't think the kid is dumb. I think that perhaps sometimes the way it's presented isn't interesting enough for them to really get involved and start being kind of gung-ho on what they're learning. Would you agree with that?
I will definitely agree with that. A lot of times, sometimes it comes that they are so smart that it's not at the right level for them.
Yeah.
And so they do get bored. Sometimes they're just lost.
Yeah.
And so they find something else to consume their interest. And so that's where, I guess you could call it a juggling act, comes in for the teacher, where you've got to balance that classroom. Make sure that there's enough information there, and it's intriguing enough for those kids who are really high achieving, and then for the kids who aren't as high achieving, that it's not so above their heads that they're going to get lost in it too.
Well, I've heard nothing but good reports about you and all these different courses that you teach. Is there anything you'd like to tell us that maybe I've overlooked this morning, Brandon? Go ahead. I got 1 minute left.
Okay. We live in a great area. I love this area. We moved here from Pocatello. I've enjoyed being here and teaching in the district. Great kids. Yeah, I'm only as good as my students allow me to be. So I have to give a lot of the credit to them. So
all right. Well,
they make the classes work. They make the classes fun.
You never know. Someday I might be visiting Raft River High School, and I might sit in on one of your classes. Brandon Sevier, thank you for being on the program this morning, and I wish you the best of luck. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, God bless. Have a good day. Interesting young man at Raft River High School, Brandon Sevier, a teacher of earth and physical sciences, chemistry, biology, astronomy, and geology. Man, he knows everything. And all of this brought to you on Cassia County School Days and presented by our two sponsors, Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley, 677-8888, and A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, and they are the great sponsors of Cassia County School Days. Thank you very much. Holy cow, we've got to get our next guest on the phone and get him on the air. Good morning. Is Randy Wynn there? Good morning, buddy.
I'm getting him on right now.
Oh, I'll save the good morning for just a second. While you're getting him on the phone, I'll quickly tell everybody about our friends at Streamline Precision. 120 South, 100 West of Burley, right next to Dot Foods. Tim Vaughn and the rest of the staff serving you at 431-7314. Call for estimates on anything you need built on your property. They are experts with construction, excavation, and fabrication services. They can put up all your on-the-farm grain bin storage. They're authorized dealers in Sioux Cup, Chief Bailey, and Nucor buildings. And I'll tell you what, they're building that brand new Funk Dairies just straight south of me, right here in Murtaugh. They are the best. Streamline Precision, 120 South, 100 West of Burley, 431-7314. Right now, let's go to the phone line. Wheels, do we have Mr. Randy Wynn on the phone?
We do.
All right. Good morning, Randy, the Seahawk fan. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
I am great. Hey, man, this is a busy time of the year for all the Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, and people are making plans to go visit Aunt Martha and Uncle Fred over in Colorado or wherever. Tell us a little bit about the Les Schwab free pre-trip safety check.
Well, we appreciate that, Zeb. Yeah, instead of a tongue twister, we have a lot of people come in for this safety check, and not necessarily if they're going on a trip, but even just driving through town locally and want to make sure their tires are okay. We have a list we go through, and people come in. We inspect their tires and kind of look at them and make sure that there's enough tread on them for them to be safe. We check the air pressure and look at the wear of them in case it needs an alignment, if an edge is wore on the side of a tire or something, that'll tell us we need an alignment on it. Then we also look at the front end parts, the brakes, just do visual inspections of these. And then we look at the shocks and struts, and then the battery too. If there's corrosion or any sign of a leakage at all, we put a load test on it, make sure the battery's okay for our customers too. I was just thinking the other day we had a gentleman come in whose family was headed to Vegas the next day, and he wanted one of these checks. And he had some pretty good cracks in his tires, and we're pretty fortunate that we caught it for him, and we're glad he brought it in because we were able to put a set of tires on for him, and we wouldn't have made it very far down the freeway with the tires that he had on for sure. So it's a good deal for customers, for us. I think it's a good service that we provide for that safety check, so it helps people a lot, we think.
Absolutely. Randy, I've been very impressed with all the 7 dealerships of the Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And with the tires that you have what's called the best tire value promise in the industry. Tell us a little bit about what you offer to the consumers.
Well, in that we give, if we sell a set of tires, it just comes free of charge, the warranties. We don't charge extra for the warranties. We have free rotations, free rebalancing, free flat repairs for the life of the tires, and then we have a road hazard warranty and also a workmanship and a defect and material warranty. And those are good at any of the Les Schwab stores. So if you're out of town, there's 450 of us in 8 western states, and any issues, you can just pull in any Les Schwab store. It's like coming here. So it's a good deal for if children or if your parents have children going to college, if they're in the Les Schwab area, they can don't have to worry their children are able to take care of if they have any tire issues. So it's a good program to have that.
It's a lot more than tires, and it's also brake service, front-end alignment, shocks and struts and batteries. And I got to tell you, your people over there at all 7 locations are absolutely excellent with brake service. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we try to. We do more than just pad flaps at Les Schwab. We change the calipers, bleed the system, front and the rear, just to make sure that everything. So if you have a bad component that's not caught, if you do a pad flap with your brakes, it can be dangerous, obviously, when you're braking. So we try to do the whole system. When we do a brake job, that's just been Les Schwab's policy forever, and we think it's a good policy. And there's a 25,000-mile warranty on a brake job as well. So we do a lot of brake jobs at the stores here, and we're pretty proud of the job we do. So
I don't care what location they go to or where they are, service reigns supreme at the Les Schwab Tire Centers. How do you find all these great people to literally run all day long serving the public?
Well, it's not easy, Zeb. It's hard, but we try to employ the best people we can and look professional for the public. As I told you before on the air, my dad always told me that everybody sells tires, but service is what sets you apart. And so if you take care of the customer, they come back, and they want to come back, because we know that coming to a tire store isn't everybody's favorite thing to do for a couple hours or however long they're here. So we try to make people feel welcome and take care of them. That's the key to business for sure. So. All
right, now the 7 locations here in the Magic Valley: Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, Twist family over in Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and you, Randy, on Overland and Burley. And I'll tell you what, the Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers are really supreme at serving the public. And I want to say thank you for all you do, and thank you for your sponsorship of our program. We really appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you too, Zeb. You do a great job for us, and we appreciate your support, and we love you to death. So thank you, Zeb, very much.
All right. God bless you, man. And don't forget, the next time that the Packers play the Seahawks, I'll probably end up owing you another dinner.
Well, that's week 2 of the season. It's in Lambeau, so you may get some dinners back. So
all right, Randy. God bless you, man. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, there is a very, very good friend, Randy Wynn at Tires West Les Schwab in Burley, and representing with his spokesmanship all the 7 locations in the Magic Valley area. They are wonderful people. Real quick, I want to remind you too about Lennox Home Comfort Systems. Oh yeah, Ramsey Heating and Electric offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems. Whether it's a gas furnace, an air conditioner, or a heat pump, you and your family will enjoy the comfort through our friends Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. We're going to send it back over to our main studios for a couple of minutes, and then we'll be back with Vicky's Country Garden. Stay tuned.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KVAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Oh, thank you very much, and welcome back to our last half hour. And right now, it is time to say good morning to the lovely Miss Vicky of Vicky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul, with the Gardening for Idiots program named after me, and she's helping me learn all about gardening. Good morning, the lovely Miss Vicky. How are you?
I'm just fine, Zeb. What a beautiful morning we have. As the sun's out, it's that shiny thing in the sky, in case anybody's wondering.
Well, take a picture of it and send it to me. I forgot what it looked like, please. Hey,
I mean, get your sunscreen out for the next few days. We're going to need it.
There you go. Hey, by the way, I understand that there is a fungus among us with all this rain. What's going on?
It's going to come up and hit us pretty hard, I think, with all the moisture, and plants have been struggling. They've been too wet and cold, and now that the sun's going to hit it, that fungus is going to take off. So,
oh boy.
Definitely, if you've got your plants planted, be aware of it. Keep an eye on them. If you don't have them planted, then you're still going to have to be aware of it because it's out there.
You know, what happens, though, I mean, I would imagine it's almost kind of like an explosion that all of a sudden when we get really warm weather and a lot of sunshine, I'll bet you the bugs and everything's going to come out, right?
Well, that's just it, and that's what fungus does. Is it lays it you don't see it when it's cold and damp. It's just multiplying, and then what it needs is sunlight and warmth and humidity, which is going to happen when all of this moisture comes out of the ground, and you're going to get that sunlight hitting, and you're going to. I mean, it's going to pop out in every direction.
Okay.
And we're going to have slugs. I mean, I've already got people in saying I've got. Something's eating on my plants. Take a look at it. I'll bet you it's slugs.
You know, Vicki, I had a lady, this is interesting that you should mention this, because I had a lady call last week, and I didn't get her name or her number, but she was asking about maybe defining all the different bugs and, like you said, slugs and all this. What is the major problem? What do they need to be looking for?
Well, if it's slugs, I mean, they're gonna go up. They come up out of the ground, and they work at night because they don't like. Of course, they've been able to work day and night with all this rain because their body structure is only for wet and damp and cool. So, but they climb the plants and they eat the leaves. They make them look just like they're just lacy. They just eat the centers right out of the leaves. They just eat the veining, and that's all.
Oh, my goodness.
You've got plants that are starting to look like that, and they can eat all kinds of plants. They'll get into hostas. They'll get into, they'll even eat marigolds and stuff like that. I mean, they eat all kinds of plants, but they go for the leafy foliage on there. But you'll usually see them. You can see if you've had slugs because they leave kind of a shiny slug trail with them. They're kind of a mucusy type of a worm type thing, and they'll leave a trail behind them. It looks kind of like just kind of a little bit shiny.
Oh.
And you can usually tell if it's slugs doing that. But as a rule, you'll see them too. Look on the back side of a leaf. Their growth. They can be anywhere from a quarter of an inch long to 4 inches long.
Oh, my. Now, okay, I got a dumb question for you, so you can sit back and giggle at me. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. How all of a sudden do these slugs show up? I mean, do they have a radio report to all the slugs in the neighborhood, and they say, hey, we got a garden at 900 South, everybody show up? How do they all of a sudden show up in your garden?
Well, they're like everything else. There's eggs. Every year we have them, and if you have a damp, dark area, or if you have bark over some stuff that stay, like on the north side of the house, they will breed into that. And then in the spring, as the eggs hatch, they just spread out and move into other areas as long as it's damp and cool. But you very rarely will ever see slugs when the sun's out, when it's warm.
Sounds like the
structure can't handle it.
It sounds like the protesters back in Baltimore.
There you go. See, they only come out at night.
No, but seriously, so what you're telling me is then that basically all properties, everybody's got slugs and they're just waiting to come out and cause trouble, right?
Pretty much, they're pretty much every yard and every garden in that has had somewhere along the line they've had slugs, and they're fairly easy to eradicate. Diatomaceous earth works really good on them because it just slivers them up. It just slice and dices them.
Okay.
And some people say, oh, you put salt on them. Well, that's kind of fun to watch them because they just disintegrate right in front of you. It's really kind of cool. But salt damages your ground.
Really?
So I don't recommend salt.
You're telling me that if I go out there with a salt shaker this afternoon, I can have giggles and laughs all afternoon watching these slugs disintegrate.
Yep, they just curl up and they just. Yeah, it's just kind of like them horror movies, when they've got the big slimy monster, and all of a sudden he just kind of melts down into nothing. That's what slugs do with salt.
You're kind of a mean, cruel lady. You know that?
I am. And another trick is you can put little caplets of beer out, and they'll crawl right in that. They die happy, but they die.
Let me tell you something, though, lady. I draw the line on that one. I'm not going to waste my Budweiser on a doggone slug.
Well, what you do is you use that last couple of swallows that's still warm in the bottom.
This is getting completely out of hand here, Vicki. Okay, now that we've eradicated the slugs from all of Magic Valley with a can of Budweiser, what about weed mats for gardens? Help me on that one.
Well, the weed mat is really great for people that don't like to mess with weeds in their garden. So get all your plants up, where you've got your seeds in, get everybody coming up and get your garden all hoed out one time, get it nice and clean, lay the weed mat down between the rows and just let the plants come up in between it. It heats the ground. It helps the seeds germinate because it warms the ground, but it doesn't allow the weeds to grow.
Really?
And if you use the same pattern every year in your garden, then in the fall you roll it up, mark it. This is for the peas. This is for the carrots. This is for the whatever. Roll it up and put it away, and you've got it to use next year. But it stops the weeds from growing. You don't have that massive bunch of weeds that keep coming up.
Well, what kind of material is this?
It's a cloth, and it lets the water go through. Do not use black plastic because plastic sours the ground and doesn't let water through. This lets water go completely through in a normal fashion, so nothing goes without water. Everything gets watered, but the weeds come up under it. It's black. They can't come out of it, and it stops them from growing, and you can walk right over the top of it.
You're not going to use Budweiser on them, are you?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right.
There's only a few things. You need Budweiser to get your parsnips to sprout and grow, and you need Budweiser to kill the slugs.
There's a joke there, but I'm not going to say it. Anyway, what about all the landscaping supplies over at Vicky's Country Gardens?
Well, we've got quite a bit of stuff in. Like I say, we have all of our rolls of weed mat, all different sizes. So you can buy it by the foot or by the roll, whichever's the most economical for you.
Okay.
If you're putting down bark and rock in your flower beds, definitely put weed mat down ahead of it, so the weeds don't grow and the bark and the rock don't end up down mixed up in your dirt.
Okay. And
we do have we've got trees and shrubs and still got lots of berries and lots of veggies, all that kind of stuff right now.
And I said one day on the air, and I think you said, yes, that's a great idea, that if people need help and need a little bit of coaching on how to maybe revamp the outside of their home and make it more visually attractive, all they have to do is kind of take a picture and send it in to you, and you can help them, right?
Yeah, they can just bring me in a picture of their home, and I can work off of that, or I can make an appointment with them and come out of an evening and walk through their yard with them and help them design it from that point, too. So whichever works best for them.
And now it's that infamous time of Miss Vicky's Tip of the Week.
Well, my tip of the week is get all your chemicals out that you have, your fungicides, your herbicides, your insecticides, get them all out, get them labeled, know which ones they are, see if you've got enough because you're going to need a ton of all of them this year.
Oh, boy.
I mean, the weeds, with all this moisture, the weeds are just going rampant, so we're going to need the herbicides to keep those under control in our lawns, in our driveways, and that kind of thing. We're going to need fungicides to keep the tomatoes and the garden up and happy and get on it early with them, and we're going to need insecticides and that to keep the bugs under control. So look at them all, get them all out there, line them up, see which ones are still good, which ones aren't, throw the ones out that you've had a couple of years, get stocked up on them, and get prepared and get ready.
And if they have any questions, they can give you a call at 438-5663, right?
Sure.
All right.
We're here all the time. We're open Sundays, too, so...
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, I learned a lot today, and quite frankly, the minute this program's over, I'm going to go out purposely to find some slugs and watch them just disintegrate themselves with my Budweiser.
There you go.
God bless you. Vicki at Vicky's Country Gardens, 185 South, 600 West of Paul, 438-5663. Have a wonderful weekend, Vicki.
Well, it's going to be a nice one, so come in and see us. We still got lots of good stuff.
All right. God bless. See you next Thursday.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you. I love that program with Vicky at Vicky's Country Gardens. She's a lot of fun. Hey, right now, we're going to do the weather forecast, and the weather this hour is brought to you by Scarro's Meats. Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew. They sell taste one bite at a time. 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657. And they've got that tax return meat package, just $300. And you get the best of beef and pork and chicken and cheese. It's absolutely fantastic. So check it out today at Scarro's Meats in Jerome. Right now, here is Michael Rogers' weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers at the ranch. If you are keeping score at home, total rainfall for Burley since this rain started at the beginning of the week, you have 4 inches of water in the bucket. Yes, you have 4 inches of rain of water in the bucket. And now you're through the worst of it. You're going to come out of it tonight, and you're going to have a nice day tomorrow, and you're going to have a nice day on Saturday, and then you pick right back up where you left off on Sunday night. Can't say it no more plainer than that. Now, the temperatures are going to start to rise. You'll hit 75 for the high today. You get up to about 80 for tomorrow, 83 by the time you get Saturday. By the time it starts raining again, you'll be down to a daytime high of about 75. That's going to be on Sunday. So, all of that being said, you're done with the worst part. So enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
All right, my buddy Michael Rogers with his weather, and brought to you this hour by Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew at Scarro's Meats. Delicious. 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657, and it is the truth. They sell taste one bite at a time. Right now, we're going to go back on the phone line, and a gentleman that I'm really interested in talking to by the name of John Egbert. Good morning, John. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Well, don't yes, sir, me. I'm just a common, old, ordinary citizen. By golly, it's good to have you on my program this morning. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you.
Now, John, you've got really an interesting story, and I don't have a lot of time, and I want to get right into it. We're going to be talking about a 1942 Willys Jeep that was in World War II. What's the story behind that Jeep?
Well, it's a 1942 Willys MB Jeep. It's just one of, I believe, 5 fully restored combat Jeeps. In other words, it was used in combat. It was sent over to North Africa during Operation Torch, November 8th, 1942, under the command of our buddy, General George Patton, in the 3rd Division.
Okay.
The Jeep made it almost to the border of Tunisia, where Field Marshal Erwin Rommel and his boys shot it up pretty bad. So it sat over in the desert for a little bit, and then the U.S. gathered up a lot of the scrap and sent it over to Texas to a boneyard where it sat for another 60 years.
Oh, my.
And my son and I located it, and we took a 2.5-year project on to locate all the nuts, all the bolts, the washers, the wiring, everything on this Jeep is 1942.
Oh, my.
We had to get parts from Switzerland, from England, the Philippines, all over Europe, places where the 42 Willys were actually used. But, everything on this puppy's full restored 1942, just like it came off the assembly line.
Well, John, tell me, what was the mission in your life to do this? I mean, this took a lot of time. This evidently took a lot of money out of your own pocket. Why? Why did you want to restore this 1942 Willys MB Jeep?
Well, it was a father and son project. My son, Ian, did 2 deployments over to Afghanistan with Special Forces. And so 2 years of his life over there. And I'm a slow learner, so I deployed 7 times to Afghanistan.
Oh, my.
There again, I was with Special Forces. I was a Green Beret, the Army Special Forces. And then I did a little bit of flying with the Air Force Special Operations. But we both came back, to use a military term, FUBAR. We were fouled up beyond recognition. So we needed a project to bring us back together as a human being, but as a veteran, as a father and a son. So we tore this puppy down and did everything by hand, wire brushed it, and put it all back together, and amazingly it starts and it runs, and it's just a huge piece of history.
Oh my goodness. Now let me ask you this. You told me briefly this morning that when it came to the transmission of this Willys Jeep, you couldn't find a second gear for replacement. What did you do then?
Well, through research, we found a gentleman through another gentleman over in Switzerland that his grandfather got his hands on 6 transmissions for these MB Jeeps. So we contacted him on the phone, and he said, yeah, he'd send us one. So for $25, he mailed us one. And it was still wrapped in cosmoline inside of a metal container that was pressurized, so it had never been opened.
Oh, my.
And we took it apart, cleaned it up, dropped it in, and it was a perfect fit. I mean, it is 42.
Where did you learn so much about the restoration of these Jeeps? I mean, did you just go get a manual someplace and say, we got to do this, part A goes to part B? Where did you get all this knowledge?
Well, grew up on a farm there in Twin Falls. So that's the biggest part of it. Farms. That's where all kids should grow up, I believe. And just restoring things, tractors, parts, pieces. But there's manuals out there. We found an original 1942 technical manual for this Jeep. So we knew exactly what dimensions were needed, what nuts, bolts, where they went, and we just went page by page and stuck her together.
Let me ask you this, John, and the first question that came to mind when I saw the pictures of this Jeep and everything all restored, are there any others like it that have been restored, or are you the only one that has one?
As far as we know, and then we've done about 3 years of research, we believe this is the only one combat Jeep that's been brought back to the States and fully restored.
Wow.
There's 4 others that were combat Jeeps but were partially restored. The engines are not the same. The spark plugs are not the same. They'll put some modern parts and pieces in them.
And
this may be the only one.
You know, I sit here and I think, as I look at these pictures right in front of me, that if that Jeep could talk, what kind of historical notations and stories it could tell to the rest of the public. It would be amazing, wouldn't it?
It would. It really would. And the steering wheel, the troopers that were driving this thing in North Africa used their knives and put their initials in the steering wheel.
Oh, my.
And we're trying to find out guys within that company of the 3rd Division that those initials match up to, because we want to bring some closure to the guys that drove the Jeep, to the family.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. Yeah. Well, now, what's the significance, John, of calling me and getting on the radio today? I understand that this Jeep is going to be seen by a lot of people this weekend. Tell us all about what's going on.
Well, basically, we're bringing the Jeep down there. My little brother asked us to come down, but we want to honor our veterans, all of those guys that either drove this Jeep or worked with Patton or just were in World War II, just to honor them, for 2 broken down vets, my son and I, to restore a broken down vehicle. We learned a lot about ourselves, and we learned a lot about the vehicle and about World War II, and I don't think we're honoring them enough. We're losing more of them and their stories. How many of us have sat down and talked to our grandparents and got their stories?
Absolutely.
What happened during World War II, whether they were in Europe or the Pacific? I mean, do those stories exist in writing, or are we just going to lose them?
John, when you hear the moo of a cow on my program, it means we have a caller with a question. Caller, real quick. I'm almost out of time. Go ahead, please.
No, my Uncle Ray Jolly served with Patton all during that African campaign clear into Germany. So he should know about that Jeep.
Okay. Well, Al, thank you. Go ahead. John, go ahead.
So the Jeep... President Eisenhower said that without the Willys Jeep, we would not have won the war.
Oh, my.
And it's just, they're an amazing little piece of equipment that, how many farmers have Jeeps out there that they're still bombing around out there, but their parts will fall off, so they'll put a new engine in or something of that nature. But it's a piece of history that it's really fun to share with people. One thing my wife and I do is we have World War II uniforms. We'll put them on and we'll drive into the nursing homes and we'll just sit in the parking lot.
Oh, my.
It takes about 6 minutes. And then the guys come out in their wheelchairs and they'll share with us their stories of what they went through. And it's amazing. These were tough men and women.
Well, God bless you for what you're doing, John. Now, quickly tell me, where can the Jeep be seen while it's up here in this area? Where are you going to be this weekend?
Well, we'll be in the parade, and then also at the park. Be parked with my little brother, Clark Egbert, and his wife. They have some displays that they'll have out, and we'll be parked right in the park.
All right, that's at Twin Falls at the Western Days Parade and in the Twin Falls City Park. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. And what times will it be there in the city park so everybody can come by and see the original of this 1942 Willys MB Jeep?
Well, from I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, so from there till whenever they close it down, it'll be there the whole time.
All right. I want to tell you how interesting this is, John, and how much I respect what you and your son have done on the restoration of literally a piece of history that you can't find hardly or anywhere else. God bless you, and I'm looking forward to seeing it this weekend, and thanks for being on our program this morning.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, sir. John Egbert and the 1942 Willys MB Jeep. Very, very interesting. And him and his son restored that Jeep to the exact as to what it was back in World War II, 1942. Unbelievable. And it's going to be at the Twin Falls City Park this Saturday and in the Western Days Parade also. Don't forget that. Hey, real quick, don't forget. Oh, my goodness, I'm running late. Here we go. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you and the free pre-trip safety check. I'll tell you, Randy told us about that a little bit ago, along with all their great tires, like the Ultra Z900 on sale right now for all the passenger cars. And, of course, the best tire value promise in the industry. They can help you and they will help you with everything you need for driving safety, including the best in brake value promises too. They are really good at brakes, front end alignment, shocks and struts, all of this and more with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. The best. Thank you one and all for being with us on the program this week. God's blessings to you, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I just hope we get some sunshine. I hope we get a chance to go outside and just get a little sunburn. I'm looking forward to it. And next Monday on the program, let me just tell you quickly who we've got scheduled. It should be an interesting week. We've got Mr. H. Sterling Burnett with the Heartland Institute. He's going to be answering a lot of questions and putting down a lot of things that the government's trying to get us to believe in climate change. We're also going to have a gentleman on talking about fake IDs that have been sold to other countries to try to get people into our country. And then, of course, the great Jimmy Flowers is going to be on the air talking about that new car show that's coming up. Or I should say the Classics on the Grass coming up at the Cassia County Fairgrounds. So all of that and more on Monday. Take care. God bless. The way things were are the way things ought to be. Have a great weekend, Wheels. We'll see you Monday at 8:06.